Hi, I'm Will Hesketh and this is Functional Yoga. So it's the same intro every time. Remember, we want to make space, we want to make time to be present in the moment, which means remove distractions. Be playful, grateful and compassionate towards yourself and take some time to appreciate that you are amazing. Let's get going. So this week's focus is breathing, and as always, it's the focus. It doesn't mean it's going to consume everything, and it doesn't mean that if your focus drifts off the breath, then that there's any problem. It's just bringing yourself back to it. That's the mindful element of things. So this is the basics. It's the what makes it yoga as opposed to just functional training. Okay, so we're going to get started from a seating position. You could be resting in a kneeling position with something under your bum if you want. You could be sitting on a chair. You could be sitting cross-legged, whatever you prefer. I like this one. That's why I'm sat like it. So, bringing your awareness to your breath is our start point. You can close the eyes if you want to, or you could keep them semi-closed. And there's no need to look at the screen while you're doing this, so you could completely close the eyes or just look at something that's not your screen. Something in your line of sight that doesn't really stimulate you in any way. That's why we close the eyes, to take away that sense of sight and focus on the other senses. So we're focusing on our awareness of our breath. Noticing your body move as you breathe. And every now and again, we might notice our awareness of the breath. So that means when the mind wanders off, we notice that our awareness is no longer on our breath. And we bring ourselves back, and the awareness remains on the breath. Maybe for one breath, maybe for half a breath, it doesn't matter. As best you can, having your awareness with your breath. Maybe just noticing the mechanics of the breath. So as you inhale, the diaphragm draws down into the belly area and the rib cage expands to draw that air in. As you exhale, the diaphragm relaxes back upwards, the belly relaxes back inwards, and the rib cage collapses a little. Now I just want to work a little bit on holding the expansion of the rib cage and breathing. So all we do is just breathe in, a big breath in, and just see if you can feel the expansion of the rib cage, the width of the shoulders, the length in the spine. And see if you could keep a bit of that. So keep that sensation that your ribs have expanded, your shoulders are wide, your chest is a bit lifted, your chin is just sort of resting in a comfortable position. The back of the neck is long, the chin's not necessarily tucked in or anything like that, but the back of the neck is long. When the chest is lifted, the rib cage isn't flared forwards at the bottom. You keep that little bit of control down at the bottom. And just see if you can breathe using your diaphragm. Feeling your belly move. Feeling that the rib cage is still big. The shoulders are still wide. The spine is still tall and long. Never forcing. If the breath feels shaky, relax, back it off. See if you can find that point where there's a little tiny bit of effort, but there's not so much effort that it feels like you're pushing it. We don't want to fight anything. We just want to go with the flow. See if you could breathe through your nose if that feels comfortable. If your sinuses are blocked, then maybe that's not for you. But if you can, maybe just breathing through the nose. Maybe even a little bit of restriction in the throat, so you get a little bit of noise as you breathe. Just being with your breath, moment by moment, as and when you can be. Not beating yourself up if you get distracted. If anything, reward yourself if you notice you've got distracted, because you have noticed. Just keep coming back to the breath, no matter what the thoughts do, wherever your mind wanders off, just bring yourself back without judging yourself. Compassionate towards yourself. Grateful for taking time to be with yourself. Anything that arises, a letting go of a judgment. Maybe with an exhale, just think about letting go of what you don't need, inhaling what you do need, or thinking, starting again. Inhale, start again, exhale, let go. Maybe imagine your breath like waves just lapping up on a beach, doing their own thing. You're not forcing or controlling, you're just allowing the flow to happen. We're going to start to come on to our first little bit of movement. Just see if you could stay with the breath as much as possible. So whatever you're thinking about me and wishing that I would get on with things or whatever it is, just bring your attention back to your breath. That's the practice. It doesn't matter what you think, it's just coming back and noticing that you've gone, that you've wandered off. First movement is going to be a movement of the pelvis and the lower back. It's kind of just an exaggeration of the natural movement of the breath. So as you may have noticed, I've turned to my side now so you can see. You don't need to change anything about your position unless you're uncomfortable. I'm just going to demonstrate the movement of the pelvis and the lower back. As you inhale, the belly is going to relax and the lower back is going to arch, the pelvis is going to tilt forwards. As you exhale, we're going to tuck and tilt that pelvis backwards so the lower back round. So as you inhale, arch that lower back, let that belly come forwards, exhale, tuck, flatten up. Inhale, arch that lower back, exhale, tuck and flatten off. Now be aware, if you're sat cross-legged and you don't have that range of movement, it might cause you problems. You might not be able to move. You can always take more things to sit on, so you feel free to carry on if you're comfortable, or if you need a bit more, pause it and then just go and find something else and sit comfortable. So on two bolsters I'm even more comfortable, so that's great for me. If I inhale, I can arch the back a little bit further now. And if I exhale, I can get a nice tuck. So it's just gentle arch as you inhale, tuck as you exhale. So becoming aware of the base of the spine and the pelvis. Inhaling to arch, exhaling to tuck. Now, let's see if we could continue that ripple up the spine a little. So just feel your way through as you arch, then the chest lifts and expand, maybe even draw the arms back a little, and as you exhale, just move from the pelvis to start with. Imagine each vertebra of the spine moving as you gently round. So as you inhale, arching, maybe even turning the palms up and out, exhale, tuck and round forwards a little. Inhale, arch the lower back gently, and then just make sure there's zero pain in this, zero compression in the lower back, just flowing your way through nice and gently, getting some movement through the spine. It doesn't matter how much, all that we're trying to do is just bring the awareness to what we're doing, move with the breath. Inhale and Exhale, so inhale into the belly, arch the lower back, lift the chest, maybe even look up slightly, but again, just make sure these are all slight. We're trying to feel through the things that happen when we move. We tend to move from just a couple of bits of the spine and maybe a little bit of the neck. See if you could visualize your whole spine moving and just get that bit of freedom through that movement. Inhaling as you arch, maybe turning those palms up. Exhaling as you tuck, maybe bring those arms round. So we're just getting that nice wave as you go, leading from the pelvis and feeling and being with that breath. Just sticking with it, take your time, knowing that you're getting that spine moving. Really nice. Gradually coming to rest. From here, we're going to come to an all fours position. Now, you can get rid of your support if you want. You could have some cushions under your knees. You could be coming down onto your elbows if it doesn't feel comfortable on your hands. But just take a break if your wrists start to ache as well. You can just take it at your own pace. All of this should be nice stuff. Knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders. As you inhale, gently arch the lower back. As you exhale, gently tuck. So very similar stuff. Inhale, gently arch. Exhale, gently tuck. Now see if you could keep it going all the way through the spine. So inhale, gently arch, and then just lift that chest a little. Think about lengthening out through the spine. Exhale, tuck from the pelvis, move it up to that mid back, that upper back, gradually letting that head come down towards the floor, moving from the pelvis. So it's bottom to top of the spine both times. Moving from the pelvis as your start point, gradually rippling up through the spine. Try and imagine each vertebra moving. Enjoy that movement. Inhaling with the arch because that's the natural movement. The belly relaxes down as you do that. Inhaling as you arch, exhaling as you tuck. Gradually gliding your way through, synchronizing that breath and movement together. Again, it's the stuff that makes it yoga as opposed to just functional movement. We're getting the spine moving, but we're breathing as we go. And we're aware of the fact that we're breathing. We're aware of the fact that we're moving. We're aware when the mind wanders off. So we're aware of the awareness. Breathing your way through, really nice. Whenever you're ready, we're going to glide over the knees. So you could walk the hands forwards a little if you wanted to. Knees hip width apart, feet hip width apart. Check that, check the ankle position, check the toe position, and then just exhale. Glide your way back. Inhale, bring your way back forwards. Exhale, glide your way back. Inhale, bring your way back to the front. And you could change and tuck the toes. Or if you had the toes tucked initially, you might want to put the tops of the feet down like I was doing originally. So that would look like this. And if you're feeling like you want to change the toes each time, you tuck the toes one time and then you put the toes back. Put the top of the foot down the next time. Just gliding through. Just being with that breath, being with that movement, feeling your way through. Whenever you're ready, we're going to start to work towards down dog. So that just means we start to tuck the toes behind us, and we start to lift the knees off the floor. And just see how that feels. You can always leave the knees down if you're in any doubt. Just gently push into the hands, gently grip the floor with the fingers. Keep the toes wiggling, feel your way through the feet. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Shift your bum up and back. So make that your start point. Shift that bum up and back. Strong into your shoulders. Pushing up and back. Feeling your way into it. As you inhale, bend the knees. And as you exhale, straighten the legs a little. See how that feels. Inhale, bend the knees, exhale. Straighten those legs a little, see how it feels. Whenever you're ready, maybe just hold for a few. Don't feel like you need to straighten the legs out completely. Maybe keep them a little bit bent. Think about tucking the bottom of the ribs down. Think about connecting at your shoulders, gripping that mat with the fingertips, feeling your way through every bit of the body in this position. And whenever you're ready, gradually bring the knees back down to the floor. Resting down into child's pose when you're ready. Okay, from that child's pose position, just start to work your way forwards to kind of like a plank but with the knees down. So elbows come underneath the shoulders, knees come hip width apart, and then just think your wrists, your elbows and your shoulders all want to be the same width apart. So just set that position, keep the wrists where they are, keep the elbows where they are, and then as you exhale, just gently glide. And inhale, bring your way forward. So exhale, just glide back. Inhale, bring your way forwards. So as you glide back, you'll probably notice that your elbows want to come out and your wrists want to come in. See if you can keep the alignment. So try not to change the position of your forearm. So elbows, shoulders and wrists all in line with each other. Just glide through, feeling your way into it. See if you can think about tucking the bottom of your ribs down towards the front of your pelvis so the abdominal muscles are engaged. Gently flattening out into that upper back. Feeling your way into it. Make sure that lower back feels nice. Don't force anything. Think about that grip of the abdominal muscles. Breathe, exhale, using that exhale to remind you to switch that tuck on the abdominal muscles. And if you want to take it a stage further, you might start to lift the knees and do that same action. So we're working towards strengthening those arms for arm balance, for headstand, just gliding through, breathing into it. No need to have those knees completely bent, completely straight, remember, so you can bend them as much as you need to. Maybe holding for a couple of breaths. Making sure the shoulders feel nice and comfortable, never forcing. And lowering those knees if you need to. And last 2 breaths. Last one. Lowering those knees gradually back down and bringing your way back up to a high kneeling position. So from your high kneeling position, we're going to go top of the foot down to start with. We're going to tuck the pelvis. Remember your tuck. And as you exhale, I want you to think about hinging at the knee. Nothing else moves. Just lean your way back a little. Inhale, bring it forwards. As you inhale, think about width across the shoulders, length in the spine. So inhale and exhale. Glide your way back as far as feels comfortable, but keep that form, keep that back of the neck nice and long, keep that chest lifted, keep those abdominal muscles engaged. So you could stick with that. If you want to, you could bring one hand around and just touch one heel. So same heel as hand, and then bring it back, and same thing on the other side. You could bring the arm up at the same time, so the opposite arm comes up, Gives you a bit more work on those quads as you lengthen them out, feeling your way through. And then if you're feeling good and there's zero compression in the lower back or feeling of discomfort, you could bring both arms back as you go and bring your way into that final position there, camel pose. You can tuck the bottom of the ribs down, keep the abdominal muscles engaged. Remember, we're not trying to compress that lower back, we're trying to expand the chest, broaden the shoulders. Don't force it. You could be on your fingertips, on your heels if it's a bit much. Back it off. You could always tuck the toes to get a bit of extra height, and it might feel a bit more comfortable. So remember, comfort is key, don't force it. Obviously, it's good to sort of push yourself a little, but make sure you're not going too far, that you feel out of control. Feel those quads working, even down the front of the shins, the front of the foot, broad across the chest, broad across the shoulder blades, long in the chest, long in the back of the neck. Try not to just hang that head back. Gradually working your way back up and release. Tuck the toes behind you and we're going to go for a down dog to finish. Just gently shifting the bum up and back. Gently bending and straightening those legs. And then you could bend both at the same time and do that breathing technique again. So as you inhale, bend the knees. And as you exhale, straighten the legs. As you inhale, bend the knees. And as you exhale, straighten those legs out. Whenever you're ready, we're going to take a step forward with the right foot, glide it through, lower the back knee, don't rush this bit, walk the hands back, bring yourself into that kneeling lunge position. From there, we're going to push into the front leg, try and minimize the push out of the hips, try and minimize the collapse in of the knee. So the knee ankle hip alignment stays perfect as you push your way back up to a standing position. Okay, from this standing position now, we're going to see if we can bring it back down to where we were, but I want you to pay real attention to where your knees are in alignment with your hips and where your hips are in alignment with your ankles, so that everything stays on those two parallel lines. Almost, if you've ever seen sort of cross-country skiing where they've got the tracks for the skis to run down that are hip width apart, imagine that's what you're on, and you've got to try and keep the knees in line with that as well. And you bring your way down gently and push your way back up. You can bring your way down as far as you want, pulling the legs against each other. Front leg pulling backwards, back leg pulling forwards. So you're working that glute all the way down as you lengthen it and then driving your way all the way back up. You don't need to go right down to the floor if you don't want to. As you come down, think about your left arm going forwards and your right arm going back, and then pulling that left arm back as you come back up. So bringing it down and driving back up. Bringing it back down and driving back up. So as you're coming up, you inhale, and as you come down, exhale. Keep that spine nice and tall and long, broad across the shoulders, hinging your way at the knees and the hips, feeling your way through. Really working on that alignment. Feet working, give the toes a wiggle. Really nice. We're going to change legs. You can do it through down dog, or you can do it just from a standing position. If you're doing down dog, just gently take yourself there. Remember, knees as bent as they need to be. Left leg comes forwards when you're ready. Lower that back knee down. Walk the hands back. Pay attention to that technique. Knee, ankle, hip alignment, and use this glute. Drive your way back up. From there, inhale as you come down. Exhale as you come back up. So as you come down, right arm comes forward, left arm comes back. As you come back up, right arm pulls back. Really work on that alignment. Exhaling as you come down, inhaling as you come back up. Apologies if I said it the wrong way around a minute ago. It doesn't matter hugely, just paying attention to the breath is key. Remember, that back leg is pulling forwards and that front leg is pulling backwards. So we're using the front of the back leg and the back. We're using the front of the back leg and the back of the front leg. That was right. I just doubted myself. Don't doubt yourself. Driving your way up and down. Really nice. Whenever you're ready, bringing it right back down to the floor. Hands come down. Push your way back to just child's pose this time. Just resting in your child's pose. Noticing your breath. So just think as you're breathing into your rib cage, the ribs are expanding, and as the ribs are expanding, they're all attached to that upper back, so it's getting some movement happening there as well. Noticing and breathing. So from our child's pose, we're just slowly going to walk the hands over to one side, doesn't matter which. And just rest there. Try and think about curving the spine over. And just breathe. Notice the body move as you breathe. With an inhale breath, gradually bringing it back towards the center. And with your exhale breath, gradually taking it over to the other side. And again, just breathing. Noticing the breath, noticing that subtle, gentle curve of the spine. Whenever you're ready, gradually bringing it back to the center. Gradually and slowly in your own time, starting to bring your way onto your back. Find a comfortable position on your back. Just bring one knee in and hold it in. Bring another knee in and hold it in. Just breathe there. If you want to move, you can move a little. You could rock about, you could rock front to back, side to side. But just before you do, just try just breathing and see if you can notice the movement of the breath. Big breath. In your own time, letting the feet come down to the floor, walking the feet to the width of the mat if you've got one, or slightly wider than the shoulders if you've not. And then just very gently let the knees go slowly towards one side, and just let them rest there for a moment. Again, just noticing the movement of the body with the breath. Allowing yourself to relax into it. The breath gets smaller now, or less intense. It's still a long, deep breath, but it's calm, smooth. There's no intensity to it. Whenever you're ready, slowly and gradually bringing those knees back through the center with an inhale, letting those knees go slowly and gradually to the other side, keeping those feet nice and wide. And again, just breathe. Notice how it all feels.
slowly and gradually bringing those knees back to the center, straightening the legs out, and coming to rest flat on your back. Symmetrical feet just hanging out to the sides, arms just hanging out by the sides of the body. If your lower back feels uncomfortable, you can always bend the knees and put the feet flat on the floor. If the back of your neck feels a bit uncomfortable, you could always just take hold of your head and lift it a little to allow the back of the neck to lengthen. Or you could get a little pillow and just put it behind the head. Just getting a comfortable resting position. You can always put a blanket on, whatever you want to do to feel comfortable. By all means, pause and get yourself comfortable.
So if you're happy closing your eyes, close your eyes. If you prefer to keep them open, just maybe find something to look at on the ceiling that just doesn't really mean anything to you, that you can just gaze at. Soften your focus off, maybe semi-close the eyes if you don't want to close them fully. Soften off around the cheeks and the jaw if possible. Just imagine softening off if it doesn't feel possible immediately. So with each exhale, just letting go. Jaw relaxing, cheeks relaxing. All around the eyes, in between the eyebrows, around the forehead. All of it softening as you exhale. Around the neck and the shoulders, softening off as you exhale. And we're going to run through a breathing practice. It's going to be a counted breath. If it feels like the count isn't right for you, don't do it. If you feel like it just doesn't feel right for you, just don't do it. If it does feel right, then great. Try not to get competitive with yourself. We're going to start the count on our own as well. So I'll start you off and then eventually you find your own rhythm and go with it. We're going to look at expanding the gaps between the breath. So whenever you're ready, just take an inhale and a long exhale. And then we're going to inhale for a count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale for a count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for a count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause for a moment. Exhale for a count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause for a moment. Inhale for a count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause for a moment. Exhale for a count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause for a moment. So now you know the rhythm. Finding your own. So if you feel like you want to count, then by all means count. If you feel focused on your breath and you don't need to count, then just do that. Seeing how long those gaps between the breath could be. Seeing how long those breaths themselves could be. Just experiment. Remember, keep it playful. Keep that compassion towards yourself. There's no right or wrong. There's definitely no need to force anything. And just see if when you exhale, you can really make it a smooth letting go. So quite often if we hold the breath, we lock the throat off and then let the breath go like a sort of a sigh almost. See if you could do it in a bit different. So you'd breathe in and you'd hold without locking the throat off. And then when you exhale, it's just smooth, calm, gentle. Pausing after each exhale. pausing after each inhale. So it's all very gentle, barely any sound from the breath, just a tiny bit that you can hear. And then just letting that breath find its own rhythm. No attempt to control it. Whenever you're ready, just moving the fingers, moving the toes, moving the face. Slowly and gently. If you want to give the face a rub with the hands, you could do that. If you want to have a stretch out, you could do that. If you want to roll around, you could do that. Whatever feels nice. Just starting to work your way slowly, slowly, slowly. Maybe keeping the eyes closed. Gradually working your way back up to a seated position. Any comfortable seated position. You can always bring the cushions back if you want to, whatever works. Sitting up nice and tall through the spine, but then just letting the chin come down to the chest. And then from there, slowly, gradually opening the eyes. And slowly, gradually bringing the head back up. And we'll finish there. Thanks very much for joining in. Take care and see you next time.